Boosie going to jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. I said, but wait.
The things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with, and, you know, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Well, Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now. Probably.
3 years. Feds picked it up.
Now it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped.
Boosie might really be staring down the barrel of a brutal 10-year sentence in his federal gun case. And the second that news hit the blogs, Charleston White wasted no time jumping online to clown him. Dude was grinning ear to ear, acting like it was Christmas morning, laughing, celebrating, and telling fans he'd been waiting for this exact moment. He made it clear that Boosie rotting in a cell wouldn't bother him one bit. But here's the twist. Boosie himself had already warned people weeks back that he was tired of the fight. He told fans straight up that he agreed to a plea deal just to get some peace, because this never-ending war with the system had drained him. And that's wild, because his case had actually been dismissed once before. But prosecutors came back swinging in 2024, hit him with a fresh indictment. And now that plea could cost him an entire decade behind bars, so while Boosie is online pouring his heart out, dropping him...
He brought you up because you were attacking Kanye because of the...
Nah, this Kanye West shit just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, you know, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. Can't take no risk of losing this shit behind.
Emotional notes about trusting God, leaning on faith, and telling the world how exhausted he is from carrying this burden. Charleston White is doing complete opposite. He's online popping bottles, laughing loud, and acting like Boosie's downfall is his own personal victory party. For Charleston, Boosie's pain ain't a tragedy, it's entertainment. Imagine that. One man praying for strength while the other celebrates his downfall in real time. And let's be real, this legal nightmare has been haunting Boosie for years. But this gun case right here, it might be the nail in the coffin. He got caught as a felon with a firearm, and everybody knows that's one of the hardest charges to beat in federal court, AT first. It looked like Boosie had slipped past the system when the case got tossed in 2023. Fans cheered, thinking he'd finally get a chance to breathe, focus on family, and get back to music. But the feds weren't done. In 2024, they circled back with the exact same charge, basically saying, "Nice try, but we're not letting you go that easy." That's when Boosie finally broke down and agreed to a plea. He even admitted it online, posted on X saying, "I thought this case was done. I thought I could finally move on with my life. But God, don't make mistakes, and I'm tired of fighting." That wasn't just frustration. That was surrender. For Boosie, this wasn't another setback. It was a moment all the shadows he'd been dodging for years finally caught up to him. When the news broke, fans flooded his mentions with love and support, but you could hear it in his tone. Boosie was crushed. This wasn't the same fire-spitting Boosie who used to clap back at every troll online for fun. This was a man carrying years of battles on his shoulders, posting with his heavy mix of faith and exhaustion, almost trying to convince himself to accept whatever comes next. And for people who followed him since his Baton Rouge days, that hit different. This is the same guy who's dodged bullets, beat indictments, walked through endless beefs, and even fought off health scares that nearly took his life. But this time feels different. 10 years behind bars ain't just a setback. It's life-changing. And you could feel that reality pressing through every word he typed. Meanwhile, Charleston White was living it up like it was his birthday. He hopped online screaming, "God is good. I told y'all the streets don't have no God. Boosie thought he'd beat that pistol charge, but I knew better. He laughed about Boosie missing milestones with his newborn, saying he wouldn't see his baby again until that child was walking and talking. He wasn't just clowning, he was savoring it. And if that wasn't enough, Charleston pushed it even further. He flat out said he hopes Boosie dies in prison. That's beyond disrespectful. But that's Charleston's brand. Crossing lines, so far you wonder if it's trolling or pure cruelty. And the worst part? Boosie hadn't even had a moment to process his sentence before Charleston turned it into a live comedy show for the internet. Now Charleston roasting celebrities ain't new. He's trolled everyone in hip-hop at some point. But with Boosie, it feels different. It feels personal. Fans started asking the real question, why does Charleston White hate Boosie so much? Because by now, this beef ain't just random internet noise. It has history, and it goes way back that IT all started in late 2022 when Kanye West lit the culture on fire rocking that White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie called him out, saying he was flat out disrespecting black people. A lot of folks agreed with him. But Charleston? He wasn't having it. He jumped online instantly blasting Boosie for speaking on ye. And that's where this messy back and forth was born. And from there, things went way left. Instead of keeping his shots at Boosie, Charleston went after his kids. He dragged Tootie Raw and even T.I.'s son, King Harris, calling them ugly, saying they couldn't fight, and predicting they'd land in jail one day. That's when people realized Charleston wasn't just trolling. He was willing to hit below the belt to cut the deepest. What shocked fans most was Boosie's reaction, or really his lack of one. Instead of snapping like everyone expected, he kept it calm. In an interview with Tony the Closer, he admitted speaking too freely could land him back in prison, especially once kids were dragged into it. So he bit his tongue and played it cool, showing he understood Charleston's game was nothing but bait. Boosie wasn't scared. He was strategic. He knew Charleston's entire playbook. Say the wrong thing, make the wrong move, and suddenly Charleston's got fresh ammo to twist into a case against you. So instead of wilding out, Boosie played chess, even if it ate at him inside. But by early 2023, this beef was boiling over to another level. Charleston was already clowning T.I. over his paperwork party drama when Tootie, Boosie's son, finally snapped. He clapped back, calling Charleston old and messy, even telling him to go die in jail. But Charleston being Charleston, he didn't just respond. He crossed the line completely. He hopped on live and said, I hope your daddy dies from diabetes. I hope they don't send the insulin 1 month. Who even says that? And then, almost like Charleston spoke it into existence, Tootie got arrested later that same month on gun charges. Charleston wasted no time taking credit. He bragged about calling the cops, sending in pictures, and even tipping off the Department of Public Safety. He claimed police were already watching Tootie because Boosie was a 6-time felon using his kids to do dirt. That was the breaking point. This wasn't trolling anymore. This was Charleston putting families in danger and playing with freedom like it was a sport. And not even 3 months later, Boosie himself was arrested again in San Diego, right after a court hearing. And of course, Charleston couldn't wait. He jumped on Instagram Live, talking like a preacher, calling it God's plan, even comparing Boosie to Daniel in the lion's den. He spun Boosie's pain into a sermon, making it sound like prison was some divine punishment. Fans didn't know whether to laugh or be disgusted. Was Charleston dead serious, or just trolling at the highest level? Either way, it was pure disrespect. And months later, Boosie finally addressed it in an interview with Vlad TV. He admitted he didn't even want Vlad giving Charleston a platform, especially after the nasty things he said about Tootie. But once again, he made it clear it wasn't about fear, it was about freedom. Boosie knew one wrong move could cost him everything. And that restraint showed fans exactly how dangerous this beef really was. He flat out said he wasn't scared of Charleston. He was just trying not to slip and end up in a cell again. But anybody watching could tell Charleston was living rent-free in Boosie's head. Even when Boosie played it cool on camera, you could feel the weight of Charleston's nonstop clowning pressing down. Then early 2024 hit, and this beef exploded into streamer culture. Aiden Ross was supposed to host Boosie on his stream, but Boosie backed off, not wanting to get tangled with Charleston's name. Next thing you know, Aiden flipped the narrative, claiming he turned Boosie down out of loyalty to Charleston White. That little twist went viral until DJ Vlad stepped in, calling Aiden out for siding with a man who once praised Hitler and denied the Holocaust. That moment reminded everyone how dangerous it is to chase clout when Charleston's name is attached. And Charleston wasn't finished. By March, he was back online accusing Boosie of warning promoters not to book him. Instead of brushing it off, Charleston spiraled into a full-blown rant, swearing he'd already reached out to feds and was ready to get Boosie locked up again. He even dragged Boosie's health into the mix just to cut deeper. Once again, no receipts, no proof, but the way he said it so loud and bold made people believe it anyway. Meanwhile, Boosie admitted he's been getting calls from dudes already locked up laughing at him. They're asking, "When you coming to join us?" Imagine that humiliation, facing the possibility of a decade behind bars, already crushed by stress, and then hearing people inside prison clowning him before he even touches a yard. Charleston knows exactly how to push that button, and he's been pressing it nonstop. Another layer to this? Boosie didn't even want to risk a trial. He went straight for the plea deal. And honestly, who can blame him? Because if Charleston White had shown up in that courtroom, you already know it would have turned into a circus. He would have testified, pointed fingers, then run outside bragging to blogs about helping put Boosie away. And don't think that's far-fetched. Charleston has a history of snitching, and he's never hidden it. Back when he was just 14, Charleston was caught up in a robbery with other teens. During that robbery, one of them, Antoine Doolittle, shot and killed a man named Michael Levy. When court time came, Charleston didn't hesitate. He testified against Antoine. In the streets, that's the ultimate stain, even for a kid. And people never let him live it down. But Charleston, he doesn't run from it. He leans into it. That he calls it survival, not snitching. Says he was just a kid telling the truth. He even brags about it boldly in interviews, doubling down like it's a badge of honor. But when that old footage resurfaced, the internet lit up, fans flooded the comments, calling him a hypocrite, preaching street codes one day while proudly waving around his own snitch jacket the next. And Charleston? He just shrugged, saying he's never lived by street rules anyway. That's the wildest part. He'll still call other rappers rats while flexing his own history like it's nothing. That's why people are side-eyeing Boosie's decision to snatch up the plea deal instead of risking trial. The last thing he wanted was a courtroom circus with Charleston White stealing the spotlight. Because if Charleston had even a sliver of a chance, he'd have turned it into the show of the year. Imagine it. Charleston cracking jokes at the jury, pointing fingers, then hopping on live right after bragging, "I put Boosie away." That's not exaggeration. That's exactly his style. And that's why he's celebrating so hard right now. To Charleston, Boosie's downfall isn't just another rapper catching a case. It's karma. It's proof that all the trolling, all the insults, all the pressure he's been applying for years is finally paying off. Looking back at the timeline, this beef starting in 2022, the shots at Tootie, the arrests, the trolling, the snitch accusations, Charleston's been praying for this exact moment. And now, Boosie's standing at the edge. He's not locked down yet, but with that plea deal, he's staring at 10 years gone. While Boosie leans on faith, Charleston's online clowning like the war's already over. But here's the scariest part. If Charleston is this loud while Boosie's still technically free, just imagine the circus he'll create if Boosie actually gets sentenced. The internet won't just break. It'll explode. So now the question is, has Charleston finally won this war? Or is he just talking too loud too soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.